You're listening to RAWF After Hours on the RAWF Radio Network.
Up a ring and onto the mic. Golden locks, throwing shades on tight. I'll rule the airwaves, I own the night. Crank up the volume, feel the heat down. Turn up the dial, let me preach. Running this town with a steel cage smile. When the bell rings, I do it with style. I'm the Lord of Saturday night. One hair thunder, taking the mic. Bodies tell the truth, no fear, no fight. Bow down, cause I'll rule tonight. Saturday night, blonde hair from the taking the mic. Body said the truth, no fear, no fright. Bow down, cause I rule tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to RAWF After Hours on the RAWF Radio Network. I am your host, the owner of RAWF in the game we all know and love as Wrestler Unstoppable. I am Lord Amadeus. My co-host this evening is not El Vacant. I believe El Vacant's off staring at Destroyer's picture still somewhere. So this evening we are graced with the presence of...
In the town where the shadows breathe, there's a name you won't ever speak. Molly Malone, she walked alone. Her footsteps echo cold as stone. They said she cursed the midnight air with a heart too broken to repair. A wrong soul left in the dust. Now they whisper that's what she gets for trust. She was the ghost they couldn't save. A restless heart, a silent grave. Every word was a fleeting dream. Every prayer a twisted scream.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Irish firestorm herself, the lovely Maeve O'Hare. Good evening, Maeve.
Good evening, boss man. How are you keeping?
I'm doing well. How is you?
I'm doing well. Enjoyed having a little bit of time away, but I'm glad to be back. And what better way to be back than sitting next to yourself?
I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it. Don't know where El Vacant got off to.
I don't want to think about what he's been doing with that picture.
I don't either. I don't. I really don't. But I'm sure he's wherever he is. He's a busy man. So
Tis true. Tis true.
it's always nice to have you aboard, though, as the co-host.
Well,
Always
thank you,
appreciate it.
boss man. And just to get things clear there, Brewer, I know you hadn't been around for a hot minute. I'm not another Irish person. I'm the Irish person.
Indeed, you are. All right. So, with all of that being said, where do we start tonight? I don't know that we got a whole lot of reports, but we'll take a look. Let me put this up here.
I mean, I can give a report on behalf of someone else if you want.
And who would that be?
A tag partner.
Ah, okay. If you have something to report from the RFC.
I wanted to report that RFC is open for signups, and you better get in there before he gets tired of it and says that's enough.
All right. So yes, the Radical Fighting Championship is underway for signups. If you haven't gotten in there, you can find the link on the RAWF main page.
I gotcha. Give me half a second, boss man.
All right.
There we are.
There you go. It's right there for all you folks that may not have gotten
Oh,
in there.
never mind. I go and I look and it's full, so never mind that. You're too late, y'all.
Doop. This just in, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. All right.
But you want to keep your eye on that because some interesting things have happened, including STB offering 10 million coins if you can dislodge him as champion. So.
Ooh, wow.
And people say that I put bounties on things.
Let's see here. In the tags division from Unstoppable, I don't believe there's been any new rankings since last week, but the round 4 did kick off 4 days ago. So round 4 is up. Round 5 will be sometime very soon. But let's take a look at the Radical Rumble and see what's been happening in there. So I believe the first round of the Radical Rumble is almost done. We're waiting on one first round match. So wrestlers moving on so far in the Radical Rumble. In the second round, it'll be Magnificent Michael versus Joe Boo versus Simply the Best. The Immortal Griffith will take on Spectacular, and the winner of the first round match between. Take a look. It would be the Hawkster, M. Ace, and Chris Cage. So one of those three will take on Griffith and Spectacular in the second round. Then we also have Redneck Avenger versus Sean Hitman Hurd versus DVT. And to finish it off, it will be Vex versus Blake Bradley versus Ciro El Napolitano.
There's some surprises going on, but there's some definite names that I expected to hear.
Yeah.
I personally hope that English tears Spectacular's head off.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the fact that I lost my match to Spectacular or anything.
All right. Hatfield McCoy, ladies and gentlemen, both qualifying tournaments are over. And I can tell you right now that tomorrow on Superstars, two people will square off. It will be the Paragon of Greatness and Tigers. One of them won McCoy, one won the Hatfield, and so they will square off tomorrow to see who gets an opportunity at Chris Cage's Hatfield McCoy Championship at Radiversary. The Powerball Contendership Tournament is also over. It was won by, no shock, Sassy Applebee's.
That's what, the 817th tournament she's won in RWF?
Something like that. It's certainly she has a knack for it, let's say. So it will be Sassy Applebee's challenging Nightcrawler with the Powerball Championship at Radiversary. More on that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the arsehole of the month. The current champion being Blake Bradley. The winner of this tournament gets an opportunity at his men's championship. Right now we are in the quarterfinals. Blake Bradley taking on Uber Vegan TPO. And of course, if Blake were to win the arsehole of the month, he gets to choose his opponent at Radiversary. DVT taking on Sean the Hitman Hurd. Mancunian Maniac taking on Hotshot Chaz. And Rick Nelson has already punched his ticket to the semifinals with a win over the Paragon of Greatness. So he will face.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
It's definitely not easy. I know that from experience.
I was going to say, I was just talking to you about this before we came on air.
Yeah.
It always feels like I'm like, yes, I just went on to the tournament. I'm going to go into the next round, and then it's like, oh, I get to face more Corkra or English or Chris Cage.
And we will talk about that in just a few seconds here, as soon as I update everybody on the biatch of the month. And of course, the current champion there is Seabell. Right now, we are in the quarterfinals. However, 3 people have already moved on to the semifinals. Davila, Seabell, Tigress, and Tigress awaits the winner of Destroyer and Miss Beautifatal to see who.
Wait. Oh, I'm purely mad now.
Why?
I'll tell them when they get here.
Oh, okay. I think I know where you're going with that. But anyways, yes. Right now, the 3 people still that have made it to the semifinals, all 3 either current or former estrogen champions. If Miss Beautifatal beats Destroyer, that means we'll have 4 former current estrogen champions in the final 4 there. However, Destroyer wins. First opportunity possibly for her in the future at the estrogen championship.
I think I'd like to see Destroyer versus Seabell myself, but
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that. Although,
You'd make a lot of money on that one.
well, I did. The Arcana Class Championship at Immortal was pretty damn good, I must say. That one was won by Destroyer. All right, extra points tournament. Let's take a look at that real quick. It is in the quarterfinals. You have Miss RAWF tournament herself, Sassy Applebee's taking on DW, Jobu taking on Big F and Hitman, Teflon Chic taking on Tigress, and Papa Shaker taking on Blake F and Bradley. All right, now for the big one. And finally, we're going to give you guys an update on the Zanthur the Platinum Dragon Memorial Tournament 2025. It is in round 3. And down to one page, so I should have no problem.
That's always a good feeling when you don't have to hit the next button no more.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so we are, like I said, in round 3. Buckshot is taking on Johnny Mayhem. Big Papa has already beaten Killa Neptune to move on to round 4. Joe Boo taking on Deez. M Ace taking on Lil Guy. Prince has defeated Eva to move on to the next round. Paragon has defeated Kitty Kabam to move on to the next round. The two-time Zanthur the Platinum Dragon Memorial Tournament winner, Sassy Applebee, still in it right now, facing Knox Boogie. DW taking on Alec Remington. Juan Solo taking on Tremars to the Bone. Vex taking on The Undertaker. The Immortal Griffith taking on Chris Cage. You have defeated Psychotic Rage to move on to the next round. To your chagrin, you see who's on the other side of the bracket. You will either face the Immortal Griffith or Chris Cage.
What did I just say?
Yeah, it's that's you can't even blame Randy for that. That isn't even Randy's fault.
I can do it anyway.
Well, you could, but at any rate, also Sean the Hitman Hurd taking on Cara DeVille. DVT taking on Miss Beautifatal. The First Lady of Anarchy, the Cougar, taking on Simply the Best, a former Zanthur tournament in his own right. Zanthur tournament winner in his own right. And finally, Papa Shaker taking on Mr. Millionaire 2.0. How he got a round 2, how he got the 2 seed, I have no idea, to Mr. Millionaire. I guess it's based on how you sign up in these tournaments. He must have been like one of the first 2 people.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that it's based on your win-loss record in the company. So if you haven't had many and you did well in those few, you've got a higher ranking than someone who's been around for years and years.
I don't know that Mr. Millionaire's ever had an RAWF match, but
well, then he's got a perfect record, don't he?
You have a point. I can't argue with that. All right, so that is your Zanthur, the Platinum Dragon Memorial Tournament update, and just a couple. We'll have round 4, and then once we get to the quarterfinals, that's the money rounds, folks.
Money.
You get to the quarterfinals, you're guaranteed at least 5 million coins and 250 wrestler bucks. So there is that. All right. Let's take a couple ganders here. Since she's not here, let's see if there's. I know she posted the scene earlier this week. Did the First Lady of Anarchy, the Cougar, for the High Voltage Invitational? Well, no, that one's not the right one. Let me go find this. Somehow that didn't get updated. I'll get it. Anyways, I'll do it since I'm here. But yes, it looks like Season 2 of 2025 of the High Voltage Invitational is in signups. And the people making it into the season from last season are Extreme Enigma, Billy Gunn, Hotshot Chaz, Paragon of Greatness, Natalia Nitro, Vex, Mark Caliber, and Destroyer. So I'll have to go and update that here in a jiffy. All right. So I believe that's everything. I don't know that there's an Ultimate Gauntlet report to be had. So carry on not joining us this evening. So, with that being said, let's take a look at what we have so far for Radiversary, because last week we did have a ton of contender matches. Let's take a look and see what we got thus far. As we know, Radiversary will be on May 18th. Wow, is that 2 weeks away? That's 2 weeks.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Wow, which means it's 2 weeks from the Hall of Fame. But on tap thus far, we have for the Platinum Dragon Championship, it will be DW defending against the 6-time Platinum Dragon champion, coming back to try to win it for a 7th time after losing it to DW at Immortal. It's Killa Neptune. What are your thoughts on DW having to turn around and defend right back to Killa Neptune after beating him at Immortal?
I wouldn't want to be in her boots because I know he's going to be purely mad about that. Is that a record, holding it 7 times?
Yes, he currently has the record. And let me bring it up here real quick. Of most Platinum Dragon championships, just Killa Neptune. It is. Let's find it. Yes, currently has held it 6 times. 6 times, which is 3 more times than anybody else.
That's ridiculous.
And he could add his 7th at Radiversary. So
7's supposed to be a lucky number.
Yeah, it could be. But for Killa, it could be, certainly. And I'm certain he is wanting to come back and get that after not the greatest performance from him at Immortal, unfortunately. But that still should be a pretty good match. DW is going to have a definitive challenge on her hands for the Platinum Dragon Championship. All right. The Midnight Hobo Championship, Destroyer will defend that title against the badass Billy Gunn, the true badass Billy Gunn. You know, I think we're going to hear it stand still. Billy has fought Billy's a tough one, but he's also very hard to predict. Destroyer's just been dominant since joining RAWF. What's your take on this move?
Destroyer's going to win, and it's not even going to be close.
Whoa. Well, that's not even a
you can say what you like about Billy as far as toughness and all that, but he's not the brightest of bulbs at the best of times, and I think that seeing Destroyer roll up in whatever she's wearing for the show is going to get rid of the last remaining brain cells.
Fair enough. Next up, the Fubar City Championship. The Immortal Griffith to defend against Cara DeVille, the relative newcomer to RAWF. And on paper, to me, this looks like a mismatch. It looks like Griffith's going to be champion when it's all said and done.
And I hope you're not looking for an unbiased opinion from myself.
Yeah, you're right. I know exactly who you're going with on this.
I think that it's going to be a better match than folks are going to give it credit for, because I think a lot of folks will look at this match and go, "Oh, well, there's absolutely no chance I'm going to use that to go get some nachos or something." But I have seen Cara both here and in other companies, and she is a lot tougher than folks might expect. So I think it's going to be a good match. I think it is going to be an end still, but there's always that uncertainty that comes with a Fubar match because literally anything could happen.
This is true. It only takes one good shot. Let's face it. So we shall see. But on paper, I think the Immortal Griffith remains Fubar City champion. Next up, Triple Crown Championship. Now this is tentative. This is assuming that Sai retains the Triple Crown Championship tomorrow. It does not mean that this match is not technically official at this moment. I can tell you the 2 challengers are official, Deez and Ken Costa.
Well, here's a promise from me to you, boss man. There's going to be a redhead in the middle of that picture either way.
Oh, wow. I understand where you're going with that, and we'll talk more. As I said, we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. But yes, right now we know that Ken Costa and Dees will be in the Triple Crown title match, whether it's against Seabell or Maeve or Enigma. We find out tomorrow on Superstars. And finally, as mentioned earlier, Sassy Applebee's won the Powerball Contender Tournament. She will face Nightcrawler, who, if she does beat him, Nightcrawler will be done in RAWF. His career he will at least be taking a retirement hiatus, as he will also be going into the RAWF Hall of Fame. So, and one other match that I haven't gotten around to making the graphic for the Champions Choice Championship, and it is official, but I do have to wait on Mancunian to confirm with me. But Aaron McFadden has chosen the Mancunian Maniac as his opponent for the Champions Choice Championship at Radiversary. And if I remember correctly, Aaron does have his stip, something that Mancunian can only use moves that start with M, A, or N. I don't know how many moves that is, but that's.
I mean, I've heard worse stipulations.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you'll take my word for it that Mank's going to take the match.
If it was just a straight up match, I'd agree with you.
Let me get in his ear, and I will make sure that he reaches out to you to confirm.
All right, I appreciate that. So that's what we have for Radiversary thus far. Let's now turn our attention to tomorrow's Superstars live from Cincinnati, and we're gonna be in the great state of Ohio for the next couple of weeks, folks. As we're in Cincinnati this week, Columbus next week, and then of course Cleveland for Radiversary. But live from Cincinnati.
I don't know what to make of this city.
Have you tried the chili yet?
That's exactly what I were going to bring up. It's sweet.
I suppose to your palate it would be.
It's got like cinnamon or something in it.
I can't confirm nor deny that, to be honest with you. But
they do pile you up with cheese though, which I appreciate.
Gotta have cheese on chili.
I went to a place called Skyline that's apparently a local delicacy, and I think I had as much cheese as I had hot dog and bun. I'm not complaining. I'm just making an observation.
Nothing makes a meal like cheese, I always say.
It's true. It's very true.
So tomorrow on Superstars, we have the match 3 of the best of 5 series between Des Bryant and Kenta, and I do believe they split the first 2 matches. So who do you think ultimately wins this best of 5 series?
Well, if you'd asked me this a day or two ago, I would have said 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I've just finished possibly one of the most grueling events I've ever been in which it came down to Des versus at one point 3 members of my team, and he stuck in there. So I'm going to say I think Des has the upper hand here because he is tough as nails.
And of course, if it does get to the 5th match, that will happen at Radiversary. But it's currently 1-1, and match 3 happens tomorrow. Next up, as I mentioned earlier, for the Hatfield and McCoy contendership. I think I put too many seconds on these. There we go. Hatfield and McCoy contendership. It is Tigress versus the Paragon of Greatness. The winner will go on to face Chris Cage at Radiversary for the Hatfield and McCoy championship. Your thoughts?
All things being equal, if this were, again, a little bit ago, I would have said, oh, McCorker's going to take it easy. But McCorker's had a lot on his plate lately. He's had a lot on his mind. And I just think he's worked so hard to get where he is that now he's like, oh, I think I can rest a bit. So I think it's going to be a much more even match than otherwise it would be. And I think Tigress might have the advantage because she's just ready and raring to go.
And I want to point out Tigress, a 3-time Hatfield and McCoy champion. Is that right?
That's a lot.
That actually, well, definitely no. It's 3. There's the third one. Yes, 3-time Hatfield McCoy champion is Tigress, looking to possibly get it for the 4th time. That would be a good match. Tigress versus Chris Gage. I mean, no offense to Paragon. Paragon versus Chris Gage would also be a good match,
but that's something we've seen several times, and I don't recollect seeing Tigress versus Chris Gage for a belt recently.
No, not recently. Next up, a rematch from last week. Only it's reverse. It's kind of in reverse order. Last week, Wildfire won the Superstars Championship from the First Lady of Anarchy, the Cougar. This week, the return match is Cougars will be the challenger this time.
I've got a bone to pick with you about this match, boss man.
Oh.
When the hell am I going to get a shot at the Superstars title? I've been sitting over here without a Rankins belt for weeks.
Well, you have been what, in contender matches for the last couple of periods, correct? Yeah. So
I'm not here for your logic.
I'm just saying.
I'm here to have a good whinge.
I can't answer that because there is a pecking order as far as this goes. So we will see. I mean, you can always.
Fine.
I mean, there is open challenge. There, you do have the
no
ability
one
to challenge.
no one with a working brainstem accepts an open challenge.
All right. At any rate, so there's that match. But there is also, which I do not have a graphic for at the moment. My apologies. Tomorrow, the Triple Crown Championship will be on the line officially, as Seabill will defend that title against yourself, Maeve, and Extreme Enigma. That's the main event of tomorrow's Superstars. That's going to be a pretty doozy. Not very often we see a Triple Crown title match on Superstars. I believe it may only be the second time in history that we've seen the Triple Crown title defended on Superstars.
Like I said, I guarantee you that there's going to be a redhead in that Triple Crown match come Radiversary.
Well, I mean, and it will either when you say that, and Enigma could just really screw you up and dye his hair red.
That don't signify.
I mean, dye their hair red. But at any rate, that is tomorrow's Superstars Live from Cincinnati. All right, I believe that gives all the information we've got for tonight, and so we can start talking about other things. Well, we could talk about the Hall of Fame if you'd like.
We can talk about whatever you want, boss man. It's your show.
Yeah. What? Look at us there.
We are pretty people.
We are. We are very pretty people. I love that. So, going into the Hall of Fame at Radiversary, we have Nightcrawler. I actually haven't had a chance to talk to you about the Hall of Fame, have I?
No, I don't think you have. Not since we've announced it.
Yeah, not since we've announced it. So let's talk about what your thoughts are on this year's class of the Hall of Fame. We start with Nightcrawler, former world champion and other many titles to his credit, and possibly will be retiring at Radiversary. What are your thoughts of Nightcrawler going in?
I think that it's a good choice. I think it's a smart choice. It might not be the one that folks were originally thinking of, but I think that's one of those that once you see the name, you're like, oh yeah. Now that I think on it, that does make sense. And I think retiring on the night you go into the Hall of Fame has a certain poetic quality to it. I am curious to see what happens if he retains that title. at Radiversary if he's going to vacate it or continue to defend until he loses it or what. But no, I think that that's a good choice. Um, and once you look at Nightcrawler's accomplishments on paper, you see just how smart a choice that really is.
And technically, this will be his second Hall of Fame ring, as he technically went in with the rest of Anarchy last year. So, it would definitely be a great way to finish off his RAWF career going into the RAWF Hall of Fame. Then, of course, we have PG, Psycho Girl, the longest tenured GM here in RAWF. And, she, like I said, she's been a GM since just about day one.
Now, I
And
didn't
while
realize that she was the longest serving GM, but I did know that she's been a GM here for a long time. I've been in a couple of her events when she's been back off and on since I joined up, and I've been in events that she's hosted in other companies. And I think one of the things that I like the most about this pick is that I have not found a single person who has anything bad to say about her. Do you know how hard that is to find around
you're
here?
you are absolutely correct. PG is probably one of the most universally liked people in all of Unstoppable. Not only is she a magnificent GM, she's very friendly, and she's also not too bad in the ring herself. So it's uh, you got to give it up for PG, and this is definitely an honor uh, worthy of her. The RAWF Hall of Fame. And then, of course, there's also Shell Kneebreaker, who was extremely important to the early days of RAWF. And I know you weren't really around
I
when.
never knew Shell. I think she'd left by the time that I joined up. But that's another person that I've never heard anyone say anything bad about. I've heard a lot of good things about her, and I wish I could have known her because she sounds like she was a delightful person.
And actually a former co-host here on well, yeah, for the first, technically the first co-host I had for After Hours.
Let's say, look over there, Brewer. Brewer not only does not like people, but does like PG and Shell, so that shows you how good they are.
Exactly, exactly. And of course, we have uh, we have Stardust, Starry, the first ever RAWF World Heavyweight Champion, who was also a GM back in the day for the early days of RAWF, was a great help. Former tag team champion, former Divas champion, one of the few people to hold the Divas title before Yvonne was given it permanently posthumously. Uh, so Starry very early had a lot of early influence in RAWF. Do you know Starry very well?
I don't know Starry from RAWF. I know her from lots of other places. I actually did USL with her for quite a while, and I've worked with her in other companies. And I would have put her on that list of everybody likes her, except I know that the person who's nominated her the most consistently won't even say her name. And there's a story there, and I want to hear it, and no one will tell me. And I
I
purely
know.
hate that because I'm nosy.
To tell you the truth, I don't remember it. Why? But I'm pretty sure I knew why at one point. But blonde, memory, Civ, all that good stuff. So I might try to find out, but I don't know that I will share that with everybody. But anyways, so Starry.
I mean,
So
I would
far,
ask, but then I might get clawed.
yeah, you might.
But
Uh,
I personally like Starry very much. I've never had any bad interactions with her.
yeah, she's another one that I don't know too many people except for maybe Cougs that doesn't like her. At any rate, and then of course Tank Girl going into the RAW Hall of Fame posthumously, and a lot of early significance to her in RAWF. Former World Heavyweight Champion.
Which I didn't
Uh,
realize until you said that when you did the announcement. I didn't realize that she'd been a world champion.
Yep, she absolutely did. She main evented Immortal 2, if I remember correctly. So I believe she defended the World Heavyweight Championship at the second Immortal. Uh, so yeah, and of course she was one of I mean, the character, the charisma. On radio, she was usually pretty brilliant, although depending on who was on with her, she could also be very antagonistic. But that's beside the point. She was still someone who lived the character of Tank Girl.
That is certainly true. From
Yeah.
everything that all of my experience with her, is that there was a very consistent character there.
And then finally, the final member of this year's RAWF Hall of Fame class of 2025, Hot Shot Chaz, will be joining uh, the Hall of Fame. And that's somebody I know you can relate to.
I can tell you all sorts of things about Chaz. I will be nice and not say anything mean because it is going into the Hall of Fame, and I'm not gonna sit here and slag off on anyone going into the Hall of Fame. Um, Chaz is a good lad, uh, and I really, really hope that this Hall of Fame induction is sort of a permanent reminder to him that he needs to not be so down on himself. I hope that he can look down at that ring and remember that not only is he accomplished, but that his peers recognize him as being accomplished. Because when he's not down on himself, he's an absolute delight. When he gets in his own head the way he's been doing lately, he is a pain in the arse. Um, and you just kind of want to shake him and say, "Stop it." So I'm hopeful that this will be a good opportunity for him to see not only that he has done more than he gives himself credit for, but that he has a lot of people in this company who think well of him.
And I believe I've mentioned it several times. I mentioned it in his announcement and mentioned it uh, several times since. He is working on being in the rankings for the 18th, top 25 for the 18th.
That is a ridiculous number.
You know,
Like I don't think English has done that.
No.
I don't think
Nope.
More Corker's done that.
Nope.
Like just that's an absurd number of like because and folks will know because I will fuss at them when they complain about the rankings. It takes a lot of work to get up in the rankings because there are so many people who care. So you got to do well in your matches. You got to do your scenes. You got to talk. Winning extra points don't hurt. And so to consistently be in the top 25 that many times is absolutely absurd. And honestly,
Yes.
I feel like that's a Hall of Fame accomplishment in and of itself.
18 right now, consecutive rankings periods he has been in the top 25.
That's
mean,
that's like a year and a half, almost 2 years now that we've cut down the rankings periods.
yeah, yeah. And let's see. Only three, which by the way, only three times in his RAWF career has he missed the top 25, and two of those were his first two periods in RAWF. So when you break it down,
That's ridiculous. That's such a high percentage.
yes, exactly. So I mean, rankings wise, there is no doubt he is worthy.
That is 86% of his total rankings periods.
Mm-hmm.
Good lord.
And he does have a couple of titles to his name: Triple Crown Championship, Fubar City Championship, After Hours Championship. So it's not like it's not like he's gone title free.
Two of those he took from me.
Yeah. So that is extraordinary accomplishment what he's managed to do. Now I'm sure he wants more. I know for a fact
who doesn't?
he wants. And so, he just has to keep plugging away. And sometimes it just takes a while. That's the nature of the biz at times. So, yeah, that is your Hall of Fame class of 2025. In 2 weeks from tonight, actually, 2 weeks from today, the Hall of Fame ceremony will start.
Do you have all the names in of who's doing inductions?
I can tell you that I believe, let's see, I do not know who's doing Psycho Girl. I'm not sure who's doing Nightcrawler. It most likely is Cougs, but I can't confirm that at this moment. I do know that myself and Cougs will be inducting Shell Kneebreaker. I'm not sure about Tank at this point. I had asked somebody if they wanted to. They haven't given me a firm yes or no at this point. But
I suspect I know who you asked for that. Do you want me to poke them?
they know who they are.
I'm here to
They
help.
know. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Uh, who else? I'm not sure about PG. I know Shell and
Starry.
Starry will be, I believe, I am going to be inducting Starry.
Okay.
At
You're going
her
to be
request.
busy.
Yes, yes. I may be,
Usually Hall of Fame, you get to shut up a little more.
but the person inducting Hotshot Chaz is somebody we haven't heard from in a while. But
Oh,
it will be your favorite threshing machine, Mithras.
good Lord. They're pulling the threshing machine out of the mothballs for this.
Yes, they're pulling him out of the mothballs for this. Hotshot Chaz will be inducted by
Well,
Mithras.
Chaz don't do nothing by halves, does he?
No, most certainly. So I am still working on the schedule of what nights we'll be doing who, but it will be a 2-night event. It'll be Saturday, the 17th, and
Oh,
Sunday.
we just got a confirmation.
Oh, did we?
Hobo says that he's going to be doing the induction for Tank.
All right. Thank you, Hobo. Much appreciated. So, yes, Hobo Ezekiel will be inducting Tank Girl into the RAWF Hall of Fame. Thank you, Hobo. Much appreciate that. So, yeah, that's that. What else we got to discuss tonight? Well, I do know we've got a Vocaroo, a promo from Mark Caliber to listen to. So let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, boy, Ezekiel. I can only imagine the amount of trauma you're suffering right now in that head of yours. Come to think of it, looks like you left a little dent on my shovel. I imagine this will probably have a lot more a Radiversary when I piece together the plan that we have for you. This all started with you, Hobo, and it will end with you when I put you 6 feet under. At Radiversary, I will put you in your final resting place. My mistress will be proud as we watch you be buried alive. If you think those shots to the head from this shovel that I'm holding was bad enough, you have no idea. Can you imagine gasping for your last breath as tons of soil starts covering you, starts to rise up, starts to suffocate you? I guess we'll have to find out what that experience is. I'll see you at Radiversary, Hobo.
You know, Maeve, I finally remembered who that buried alive match
Did you know?
I finally remembered that it is actually going to be Hobo Ezekiel and Mark Caliber in a buried alive match at
Yeah.
Radiversary.
You know, Hobo, I don't think you need to stop Mama Moose. I think you should just let her do what comes natural.
But yeah, so
I mean, I would if someone had talked to me like that. Having experienced being buried alive in a buried alive match, I can tell you that it's no fun.
Wait, when did you? Assume this wasn't an RAWF. I don't remember you ever being in a buried alive match.
That's when Chaz lost. When Chaz won the Fubar City title from me.
Oh, that's right. But that technically wasn't you.
I were the one suffering.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose you were down.
I were blowing dirt out my nose for a week.
Oh, ugh, phew.
It was awful, purely awful.
But yes, it will be a buried alive match between Mark Caliber and Hobo Ezekiel at Radiversary. You know what I forgot?
What did you
And,
forgot, boss man?
and I feel bad about this because I know how excited he is knowing that you're here tonight. But I forgot to mention the undercard of Superstars, which means we have to talk to you know who, Maeve.
I hope he doesn't have any of that poison stuff he's been drinking.
Let's welcome Randolph Mortimer Draw to the program. Randy. Hey, boss man, what's leaving me hanging there? You know, I was looking forward to seeing Maeve tonight. How you doing, Maeve?
I'm doing well, Randy. How's yourself?
And I didn't bring none of that Mad Dog stuff. Last
Take
time
fact, that stuff is unhealthy.
it's better than that Midnight Hobo crap.
That's like saying it's better to be shot than stabbed.
I mean, yeah, I can't argue with that. But yeah, boss, I got your undercard from our superstars right here. Not a problem. And Maeve, you're on the top of the list somehow. You'll be taking on Johnny Mayhem. And then Rick Nelson to take on Mystic Maniac. Magnificent Michael takes on Hotshot Chaz. Carnage King takes on Joe Boo. Aaron McFadden versus Billy Gunn. Angel Bitch versus Strangleheart. The Moose versus Bruiser Omega. Dark Warrior versus Big Papa. Psy versus Chosen. Vex versus the unsettled Chris Cage. Uber Vegan TPO take on Killer Neptune. Scott Hall to take on Cara DeVille. Alec Remington to take on the Minion. Allie Knight versus the Crippler. Deez versus Soul Reaper. Joey A versus Starlight. Miss Beautifatal versus the Razor. Mark Caliber versus Nightcrawler. Ken Costa versus Stormtrooper of Death. Olivia McGinnis. I'm getting that name good now, there, Mae McGinnis. That's that, right?
That's right, it's McKennis.
McGinnis. Olivia McGinnis versus Davila. Hot Cheese versus Blake Bradley. Sean Hitman Hurd versus Spectacular. Andy Price versus Knots Boogie. Gossip Payne versus Toxic Megatron Avenger. Eva to take on Sisulu. The guy from Star Trek. That's who that is, right? Sisulu?
Not quite.
Black Lilith takes on DW. Slashy takes on Roger the Pirate. Kitty Kabam versus Mancunian Maniac. The Immortal Griffith versus Extreme Enigma. Oh, wait, didn't they fight last week? Oh, hate to be them. Marquis de Sade takes on Agent of Hate. Undertaker takes on Kenta. Money Sue takes on Boney. Ted Beaglewolf Dennis takes on Psycho Girl. Redneck Avenger takes on Crazy Serb. Christopher Price takes on Sophia McFadden. Kayla the Governess takes on DVT. Natalia Nitro takes on Papa Shaker. John the Revelator takes on Alexei Shmirno. Luzon Warrior Queen Falcon versus Des Bryan. Crazy Mama versus Michael Brewer. Addiction versus Cero El Napolitano. Teflon Chic versus Honey Thunder Apples. Malice versus Simply the Best.
Wait. I thought I heard that last week and I weren't here to ask. Malice. You've hired Malice, boss man.
I did what?
You hired Malice.
Yeah.
You're braver than I thought. Continue, Randy.
Malice versus Simply the Best. Destroyer versus Dr. Kent. Seabell versus Evan Deadly. And Hobo Ezekiel to take on Sassy Applebee's. I feel like I missed something there, Maeve. What was that all about?
I know Malice from other places. And I wouldn't have him on my payroll, but that's not my choice. not that he's not entertaining, but he's a lot.
At any rate, that's it. That's it for the undercard tomorrow, the boss man. And Maeve, so good to see you.
Of course it is. I mean, look at me.
I mean, there was all this talk about El Vacant drooling over a picture. I still got your picture you gave me, and
Well, see,
yeah,
that shows your good taste.
exactly.
And things other than liquor and clothing.
Hey, I, I, I like this tie.
I assume that's why you paid money for it. I don't know who the extortionist was who took the money, but
All right, thank you, Randy, and we will talk to you again next week. Yeah, no problem, Maeve. Yeah, you know what I want to say. At any rate, night. All right, so that is tomorrow's Superstars undercard, and yeah, I think Randy wants to get out of here before our next guest gets a hold of them.
oh no, what if?
Yeah. But tomorrow on Superstars, Triple Crown title match. It will be Seabell defending against yourself, Maeve, and our next guest. Please welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Extreme Enigma to the program. Good evening, Enigma.
Evening, LA. Evening, Nope, that's a redhead with a whole lot of aspirations, not vacant. Hey, man.
Yeah, Vacant and I don't have a whole lot in common in the physical department, do we?
Not gonna say anything.
Not touching that one. At any rate, so you finally got what you've been asking for, Enigma. Although it might have been a little bit more than what you asked for. You wanted a shot at the Triple Crown Championship, but I think you were expecting someone more elevated than Maeve, if you know what I'm saying.
Could say I predicted Maeve there. I mean, I expected Sai to have some trick up her sleeve. Like, you made a nice allusion there, another member of the Elevated Society, perhaps. But, you know, I do well in surprising.
Did they just call me a trick?
I mean, shoot first.
But it's so. I mean, we have the champion out in the green room. We have the other person involved in the Triple Crown here on air with me. So this is your opportunity to tell them what's going to happen tomorrow, or what you think is going to happen tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely, LA. I mean, me? Time to yap on the radio? Everybody's excited, aren't we? Aren't we all?
Certified yapper, this one.
Yeah. Once our eardrums recover from your theme song, we might be. Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Mr. Host, Miss Challenger for tomorrow, Miss Challenger out in the audience, everybody, sit back, crack open a Starfield, and let Enigma tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. That triple threat, that Triple Crown title match. Plain and simple, it's going to be the best show of the night. It's the best match of the show. I'm so excited I can barely even keep my words straight. We have 3 people who have held multiple titles in this company. We have 3 people who are at the top of their games, the prime of their wrestling careers. But out of those 3 people, we have someone who is just a little more hungry than the 2 other people in that match. Let's look at the champion here, Sai. You're sitting with a great company. You have multiple champions in the Elevated Society. You've elevated yourself to quite a position here in RAWF. 1 year ago, you were a good name, a good hand, a reliable person to have on a match card to bring in some butts to get in those seats. And now look at you, main eventing, being a genuine star in RAWF. I applaud you, but I don't envy you. For the same reasons I don't envy Maeve. Maeve, the past couple years have been very interesting for you, whether you've been a nightgown wearing, Fubar City title holding, regular woman of the night in the most positive ways for the efforts you've been put together when you've had your mind within your own control. But you also don't understand, like I said, just how hungry I am for this title belt. My journey in RAWF has been one of a very simple intent. I'm here to change things. Since I stepped foot in this company, there's been one constant, and that is a revolving table of people up at the top. I recently did a little interview with a certain Nick Stenholm for a little magazine. I don't know if you guys heard my news column called Plagued. If you look at the title scenes for the world title specifically, it's 10 people. Sorry, 11 people if you count good old Eva, who just got her well-deserved shot at the title contendership. 11 people have been in the world title conversation for the past 2 years. And that's fucking boring. I look at myself in the mirror, I look at this multimedia championship, a belt that I've done more with in the past couple months than every single past couple champions have done with their entire 10 years. I don't see boring. I see revolutionary. I see a real champion. Now, Sai, you're a great champion, but you're starting to lose sight of what's really important here, because you're too comfortable sitting with the elevated society. Maeve, you're a fantastic wrestler. You've beaten my ass several times, but you are underestimating me, pure and simple. We can sit here, shoot the shit, I can talk, you can sit, LA can ask us questions, he can do the little wavy hand to carry me on and get me to the end of my sentences. But plain and simple, neither of you know just how fucking hungry I am to come out the champion tomorrow.
Maeve, do you have a rebuttal?
Are you done?
I suppose, if you want to, certified yap to a good bunch there. Come on, whole red.
All right, so here's what I have to say to that. You want to sit here and you want to run your gob about how hungry you are, then feckin' eat something. You are fully in control of the fact that you haven't had more title belts than you want to have, because you go and you challenge folks that you got no business challenging, and you get your arse kicked, and then you sit there with a silly look on your face going, what the hell just happened? If you're hungry, eat something. You're a grown adult. Don't sit here and complain to us because you don't have what you think you deserve. Go and get it.
Hey, at least somebody here had some balls. I mean, we got half the chat just talking empty words. It's good to see you coming at me with some real venom, Maeve. I appreciate that, truly. I'm going to ship you a case of Star Fuel. With an
I don't touch
extra
that
Star
stuff.
Fuel. Oh, no, you're going to want it after I beat you tomorrow night. Got to drink those sorrows away.
If I had sorrows to drink away, I certainly have better things than Star Fuel or Midnight Hobo or Mad Dog 2020 to drink. But I appreciate your consideration. I appreciate the hustle. You're trying to get out there and chill your Star Fuel. But let me remind you of something, Enigma. How many times have you come on here and done your whole song and dance about how you're calling out a champion? 5 times? 10 times? How many of those attempts have been successful?
This is what I've been missing. Someone who actually has teeth and someone who can actually bite when they got a challenge in front of them.
Oh, if you want me to bite, all you have to do is ask nicely.
I already got to deal with Griff in a match tonight. You think I want to deal with Griff after asking you to bite me? Come on now.
English isn't going to care who I bite. Do you see a leash on me?
No, this isn't the Godslayer's locker room. You're actually out in public. You don't got the leash on right now.
They're charming. They're really charming when they think that they have a point. Look, this doesn't have anything to do with English. You can deal with him on your own time. This has nothing to do with my match against Johnny Mayhem. who I am amused I'm facing, given the whole history that Griff and I have with him in the Indies. This is about yourself and me and Sibel there, who I purely love, and I would love to see doing better things with her life. So when I slag off on your mates, it's nothing to do with you, Sibel, and everything to do with the fact that I feel like I'm in one of them Lifetime movies, and I'm cheering on my best friend even as I watch her make terrible life choices. You don't need the elevated society, they need you, and the sooner you realize it, the better. As for yourself, Enigma, I love that you come out here and you've got all the confidence in the world, and you talk about your star fuel and your plagued thing. What did you call it? A newspaper, a magazine? What is it exactly?
A website interview, something that a glorified modern jobber like Michael Brewer wouldn't know about because he's too busy yapping away in his own hovels.
I've made the list of people Brewer can tolerate, so I've done something productive with my day. All right, your website interview. Um, tell you what, Enigma. Not only am I certain that a redhead is going to win this match, but I will make a bargain with you. If, by some fluke of nature, you manage to pin me tomorrow night, I'll give you an interview for your website for free.
Free advertisement. You got a deal.
Wow. All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
I think they called you washed up Brewer.
I use the term glorified, but I mean washed up,
Glorified.
empty worded. I mean, Brewer, you got some teeth, but not quite enough
No,
to match the
catch.
redhead
No,
here.
I don't do catches. I don't play silly little word games.
You
What
play
I say
catch,
is what I
man.
mean.
You play catch. When you catch this L tomorrow, live on Superstars.
You're gonna catch these hands if you're not careful.
I love the wordplay you can give me.
All right. That'll be enough, I think. So, at any rate, Enigma, good luck to you tomorrow in the Triple Crown title match.
You're surely gonna need it.
Still don't know who you'll be facing and for defending your multimedia championship against, whether it'll be Dr. Kent or Dark Warrior at Radiversary. Right now, it could go either way, looking at how that match has gone.
Enigma, you better hold on to that belt because neither one of them is a talker like you are.
If I lose a belt to the Dark Jobber and Dr. I was going to make a Minifay joke, but I think we all like being able to keep our lunches down right now. I don't deserve to be champion, so expect a win at Radiversary in that respect.
I will say, Dr. Kent ain't a talker, but he is a fighter, and he always gives me a good match. So, if I were you, I'd hope that Dark Warrior wins that so that you have an easy night.
Shit, he has to be some kind of fighter to get out from under Minifay's dirty pillows.
All right.
I think that's your cue to go.
One last question. This one's for both of you because one of you will be, and both of you have a 33.3333% chance.
Are we getting into the Steiner math?
No, this is Amadeus math. That's even scarier. But at any rate,
blonde math.
At any rate, blonde math. There's a meme somewhere. But at any rate, if one of you walks away with a Triple Crown Championship tomorrow, you go on to Radiversary to face Ken Costa and Dees.
See, I think that there's two very interesting scenarios for that, and it's different. Because if Enigma goes out there and wins and gets into that Triple Crown title match at Radiversary, I suspect their focus is going to be on Ken Costa because there's a whole history there. My focus is going to be on Dees because he's the one who knocked me out of the contendership match. So I think there's two very interesting scenarios there. But I certainly don't want to be accused of overlooking the charming redhead out in the lobby that I got to beat first. So don't you worry, Sibel. You're my first focus.
Enigma, your thoughts?
I mean, if I get in that match, you have so many catchphrases you can attach to that. We're going to sell tickets purely on titles alone. I mean, we're all former members of Bar. Shots of Bar. Dez is my mentor. I mentored Ken Costa. It's the perfect fucking soup. It's a great soup.
Soup
But
for my family.
we fucking love soup.
That's a
Starfield
good.
soup.
Ew.
Well, I suppose for somebody that's as hungry as you are, that soup will taste delicious.
I may not be a bald overrated fuck, but feed me more. Now it's gonna be a great match.
All right. Thank you for your time tonight, Enigma. Good luck tomorrow in the Triple Crown title match.
Absolutely. Good night, LA. Good night, Maeve. Good night, Cy. And good night, Triple Crown title. It's going to be doing a little of a Shawn Michaels in a pose once I win that belt. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Enigma.
Well, you got to admit, they talk a good game, man.
A certified yapper, I told you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm always amused to hear what comes out of their mouth. I just sometimes wish maybe they'd consider their words a little more carefully.
All right. Our next guest has a big match at Radiversary planned with the current reigning world heavyweight champion in a non-title match, of course, but still calling this man out like he did. Thing you can say about this guy, he's not afraid to step up to anybody. So let's bring on.
Dark winds blow through the night, ravens scream an eerie sight. Shadows dance in the moon's pale light. Soul Reaper walks no respite. Cloak of dread he wears so tight. Eyes like fire in the darkest night. Whispers echo, hearts in fright. Soul Reaper's call, no end in sight. Cloak of dread he wears so tight. Eyes like fire in the darkest night. Whispers echo, hearts in fright. Soul Reaper's call, no end in sight. He takes the last, no remorse. Strikes them on the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Celtic Nightmare, the Soul Reaper, joining us now. Soul Reaper, good evening. So again, Paragon not here tonight, so once again we can't confirm deny the steps that you were going to go.
He's perfectly okay with me announcing the steps tonight.
Okay.
So it will be a boxing match. The only moves allowed will be a backhand chop, closed fist punch, a tomahawk chop, elbow strike, head slap, or a European uppercut. The only way to win will be by knockout, meaning when one person gets their opponent to 0 health, the person with 0 health has to let the timer run out to a count out to make it in effect a knockout.
Okay. Well, make sure you send me those steps so that I.
And like I said, I talked to Paragon beforehand earlier, and he said that it would be okay to go ahead and announce the stipulations.
All right. Well, good.
So
sounds like it's going to be.
I'm also going to be having a second match tomorrow. I don't know if Olivia McKinnon's got with you on this, but I wasn't real happy with the DQ win last week in Indianapolis, so I issued her a rematch challenge to her for this week, this time no disqualification. I wasn't very happy about getting an eye gouge.
So hold on a second. Wait a second. Where was this confirmed? Was this confirmed in the scene?
In Indianapolis.
Okay. Well, next time you need to send me that when a match has been made like that.
I do apologize, but she didn't accept the challenge, I think, until earlier. It took a little while for her to accept it.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, we're going to postpone that match till next week.
Yeah,
all right with that?
I'm sure she will be too.
All right. So we will have that match, a no disqualification fight between Olivia McInnes and Soul Reaper next week.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy about the eye gouge.
Well, that is the chance you take when you use eye gouge. That's been
That
I
is
mean,
true. And I was more
I
pissed off about it, the fact that it freaking hurt, than it actually being used. I was just more pissed off that it hurt.
I mean, that's fair. English can't stand having anyone go near his eyes.
Yeah,
So yeah, that will be next week on Superstars from
just
Columbus,
like
Ohio.
Bacon doesn't like anyone messing with his taco truck.
Well, I don't give a shit about the taco
Well,
truck. I mean, I do, but it's not
there
mine.
was a little while back where I hinted at something telling Bacon not to start the taco truck up for a while, but I was just screwing with him.
You might not want to make jokes like that because I'm pretty sure that Vacant's insurance on those goes through the company. So Bossman's going to be the one mad if he has to pay for another truck.
Yeah, well, that's part of what I didn't. That makes sense. I just made.
I'm gonna say I know Bossman's had to pay for several over the years.
Yeah, I had to pay some fines for putting my hands on old Doc Dillinger. What do you think it was?
I mean, now to be fair, I can't blame anyone for being annoyed with Doc Dillinger, but like,
Well, when I paid the
maybe
fine,
maybe keep your hands to yourself. We learned that in
when I
primary
paid the
school, didn't
fine the
we?
first time, I paid for the second one time in advance. Although the second time I actually let him go, I didn't put him through the announcer's table again. I actually just let him go and walked away.
At any rate, let's
Yeah,
get back
yeah,
on track here, so Reaper. You've
yeah.
kind of gotten us off track. Let's talk about the match with Paragon at Radiversary. I mean, as I was saying, you definitely will step up to just about anybody. This could be a huge match for you if you were pull off a victory over Paragon. What are your thoughts just a couple weeks away from Radiversary?
Um, I know I've got my work cut out for me. I mean,
That's for sure uncertain.
on a legend like that.
I mean, you literally did this to yourself.
Oh, I
You
know.
realize that?
People thought I was going to get slaughtered by Icon, but I just barely managed to come out on top in that one.
All right. Well, hopefully we will have Paragon back next week, and maybe the two of you can have a one-on-one conversation about this
I
whole
do actually
situation. But
have a
until
busy
then,
night at Radiversary, though.
yes, she will be a special guest referee for that Nightcrawler Strangleheart
Yeah,
match. That's right.
I do have history with both of them.
That's true. What's your history with
That goes
Strangleheart?
to back towards two other companies. Not I don't think I faced him too much um in RAWF.
All right. Well, I guess that's a story for another night. With that being said, Soul Reaper, good luck to you tomorrow. Who did I say? You have D's tomorrow, don't
Yeah.
you? You sound so thrilled.
Yep. Thank you guys. I'll see y'all next week.
All right. That is the Celtic Nightmare, the Soul Reaper. Ladies and gentlemen, a big match with the Paragon of Greatness at Radiversary. And yes, let me take this opportunity to you folks that if you do challenge somebody on a Superstars, it's always best to and accept a challenge or whatnot and make a match. It's always best to let me know as soon as possible because I don't always get to read the superstar, keep up on the Superstars for a couple of weeks. I usually read them over thoroughly when I do rankings, but a lot of times I might miss a thing or two if it's just like in the last couple of weeks. So,
When in doubt, let Bossman know.
always the best policy. When in doubt, let me know so that I can, because I had no idea about the whole Soul Reaper Olivia McInnes situation. So, I'm glad he let me know, but
I
next
mean,
time.
to be fair, he didn't even say her name right, so.
No, well, is what it is. All right. Our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Let's welcome.
Boots hit the dirt, stealing my stare. Six pack of Indians, I don't fight fair. Rattlesnake blood running through my veins. Mess with the best, you'll be feeling the pain. I'm a renegade, born a ball, raised on rage. Knuckles up, I set the stage. Drinking beer and kicking pain. Ain't no cage can hold my name. A redneck avenger, don't need no crown. But you best believe I run this town. From back road bars to the square circle, ain't no rules when I raise this hurdle. I don't tap out, I don't back down. You cross my line, you're going down.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is the rednecked one, the redneck Avenger, now joining us here on After Hours.
How you?
All right,
I'm doing all right. How about you, LA?
I'm doing great, doing great. So, what brings you to this part of town, partner? What's on your mind?
I heard you had beer.
Did you bring beer, Maeve?
I certainly did not.
Yeah, we have beer.
Oh,
We
okay,
have beer.
good. I was going to say something wrong if you ain't got beers.
I save it for just for such occasions. But how you what are you up to? Yeah, you ready for Radiversary here in a couple weeks, where we got some good folks being inducted.
Yeah, I was really happy to see. I was really happy seeing who all made it into the Hall of Fame class. I think it was a good group. I'm glad to see Star, and I've been seeing her around some more. So that's been a very welcome return, and it's seeing Chaz go in, especially. That's another one, and the other folks too. I mean, there was nobody that I went, oh geez, really.
It is a special occasion. You realize now that that RAWF's been a thing for 12 years.
Yes.
And you've been there. I believe you've been in there since day one.
Right.
So you've seen it all. Talk to me about your favorite memories. Just bring up a couple of favorite memories here over your 12 years.
Because it's not only that, but there was also the predecessor company to RAWF. We were there too. Let's see. Some of my favorite moments, I enjoyed beating the shit out of Monkey Poo. That's always fun.
Well, that's a given. That's kind of a renegade staple.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much the team hockey puck. I mean, he just gets smacked around, but he thinks he owns everything. It's cute to watch it, but I just don't get worked up about it. I'm looking forward to. I enjoyed doing this little round here. I enjoyed being the first Barbell champion. I mean, get to pioneer that one. That was a lot of fun. It's something more recent, but it's all the feuds, all those years of just going in and being a part of something really good. It's all been a good memory, because, frankly, if it hadn't, I'd just turn around and say, "See, folks." I mean, but that's not me, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of my time here. And favorite moments, it's hard to pick out. There are just so many.
Fair enough. Yeah, and it's been a long 12 years, no doubt about it. But there's been a lot of highs and lows as far as
I mean, we gotten to come in, welcome people in, train. I mean, one of my favorite things is seeing Enigma grow, working with him from the bar, and getting him working with him in cooperation with him, helping him improve. And he's a title winning thing, and it's really good to seeing him develop. That's one of my favorite things. Getting to be Dev's tag partner for, oh my gosh, probably about 9-10 years. We've always just had the biggest time and had a lot of fun. We know exactly what we're looking for to get out of stuff, and we've had so much fun in the division. Sometimes it's being a little bit of a spoiler, and kind of messing up somebody's bingo card.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, the two of you have been a team in RWF for as long as I can remember. It's been quite a while, so in the RWO, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so what? Let's see. Who do you got tomorrow?
I missed whenever Randall was talking. I was finishing up some pork chops, and well, I just missed it.
You missed it. Let's go. Oh. No, that's the other Avenger, Toxic Megatron. The list is quite long these days with everybody returning, but there you are, Crazy Serb.
Oh man,
Is your
that's
opponent.
always a fun fight. Because crazy is not an exaggeration. I mean, he gets in the ring, telling what's going to happen. Whenever he pulls on the tights, he gets nuttier than a squirrel turd, and it's something. And but the thing is, it may look to someone like it's nutty, but he knows exactly what he's doing, and he's very good at it. Fought with him for years through USL and in different companies. He is very, very talented. And if he decides, one of the most dangerous things you can do is have that man pay attention to you. It's going to be a good fight.
All right. So, with that being said, good luck to you tomorrow against Crazy Serb. And let's see. Yeah, Starry going. Let's go back to talking about Hall of Fame for a second. Starry, you knew that Starry was the first ever RAWF World Champion, right?
Right. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So
Her and then her and Pebs being the Wonder Twins was kind of the 500-pound gorilla in the tag division.
yeah, they were definitely a hell of a team back in the day, no doubt about it. And I always wonder what happened to Pebs, but Starry, we've been seeing a lot of her around lately. She's been pretty active.
I think it. Yeah, I think she got wind and wanted to see folks and not be a part of a memory. Pebs didn't elect to do so, and that's I wish him nothing but the best. But I mean, he was one of my training partners, and he's one that disappeared. So, hey,
no, really, I didn't notice. I didn't realize that. But at any rate, apparently all that's going to change anyways. Training partners eventually is going to change, so that won't matter so much anymore. But yeah, 12 years. We're coming up on 12 years, and it's gonna have a lot of fun. We'll drink a lot of beer. We'll definitely have to toast the 12 years.
Absolutely, and pour a little out for our friends that have left.
Absolutely, Maeve. Anything you wanted to discuss with RA?
Oh no, I think that we covered everything. Out of all of the Hall of Famers, who are you the most excited to see going if you had to pick one?
Oh, Starry. Like I said, because I mean, she was a staple from the beginning. Good to see her back, and I'm excited to see Chaz go in too. But if you had to pick one, it'd be Starry. That one's been the longest overdue.
An original renegade is Starry.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, definitely. And they all deserve it. This is a great class. Is. This was definitely, like you said, none of them do not deserve it in any way, shape, or form. So, all right, RA. Unless you had something else you wanted to discuss.
I think I don't think I have anything, no burning questions on fire in my mind. I just know I got the focus, and I've got a very tough opponent.
Yep. Good luck to you tomorrow against Crazy Serb, and we'll see you on the upswing, my brother.
Roger that, brother.
All right, Redneck Avenger, ladies and gentlemen. Maeve, he's one of those ones that started out, been here since pretty much the doors opened back in 2013 of RAWF. So, with that being said, speaking of, we've been talking a lot about him because he's been making a lot of noise out in the chat. I wanted to talk about this guy just for a couple of seconds. The hooligan god Michael Brewer has returned to RAWF, and I don't know exactly how he's been doing. I'll be starting to do rankings matches and check all that out here in a week or two. But did you know, Maeve, at the very first radio show I ever was involved in, I called in, and it was him, and I can't remember the other guy's
Probably Willie
name.
Reed.
He was. No, it was Swamp Dog second in command.
Oh,
You remember who I'm talking about?
yeah, Amos. Something Amos.
Oh no, that was Swamp's real
Oh,
name.
shoot. Okay.
It was Big something.
Lord. That's one that'll just pop in my head when I least expect it.
Well, Brewer, you're out in the crowd. You tell us who you were hosting.
Yeah,
with.
who was it? Because it was you were co-hosting with the guy. It was the first time I ever called into a radio show, and it was after a big match I had with you. I remember that. It was for CSW, and it's been like 14, 15 years. You don't remember who you were?
Apparently, you can make up whatever name you want because Brewer don't remember neither.
He was Swamp Dog's second in command in CSW for a while, and I can't remember his damn name off the top of my head. But yeah, first time I ever appeared on a Blog Talk radio show, and Brewer was one of the hosts, and it was a lot of fun, and it wet my whistle for this whole what you've seen over the years.
So what you're saying is, in a way, we have Brewer to thank for there being an after hours.
He was very drunk back then. Okay, so
as opposed to being only mildly drunk now, Brewer. Brewer, you ought to call in and then we could chat.
Yeah, anytime you want, Brew. Although, if you want me to play your theme song, I ain't got one for you because I don't think any theme songs you have are copyright free at this point. But
there's folks you can talk to get that fixed,
including me. Thanks to Suno.com.
Cheap plug.
Cheap plug, even though nobody. Anyways. But yes. So it's good.
I'll tell you. Since we're reminiscing, the very first show I called into was one that Susie the Elf was co-hosting with Cassie Madam Red.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It was for EXW.
Ah, okay. Well, for EXW, so that was a radio show, or was that your YouTube?
It was a radio show about the YouTube show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's nice. I didn't know that.
That was a long time ago. Not 14 years ago, mind you. But for a long time ago.
I assumed my show was the first one you ever called in.
No, unfortunately not. But I did listen to After Hours for like 6 months before I called in the first time because I were nervous.
No. Well, that's understandable. A lot of our regular people were nervous to call in. I know it took Paragon a bit to get his gumption up to call in.
There are folks I had worked on for months and they still hadn't called in.
Yeah.
But this is my time to tell everyone that you don't need to be nervous and you should call in because Boss Man purely loves it when you folks call in, and then he doesn't have to listen to us old heads talk all the time.
I know Kenta used to call in a little bit back in the day.
Really? I don't think I ever heard Kenta on the radio.
I'm 90% sure that Kenta called in at least a couple times.
Kenta, did you ever call in, lad?
It's been a few years, obviously. Yes, he did. See, so yeah, Kenta has called in before. Wildy has called in before.
I was there the one time in the last half a decade that Wildy called in.
Yeah.
She should call in again because it would be really nice to hear the Kiwi accent.
Yeah, and we've got I can always whip up a graphic like I just did for Brewer for people.
That's a good one too. I like that one.
Yeah,
it's a good look for you, Brewer.
But at any rate,
Kenta says he'll call in again soon.
All right, I'll try to have Kenta. If you have a theme song or
it's got to be copyright free.
Yes, unfortunately, theme songs we have to be copyright free. I can't have something that's copyright, a known song. Generally, I like to have it created on like Suno.com or other platforms before I'll use them. But
if you want a Godzilla themed song, though, I bet we could work something up for you, Kenta.
Yeah, I don't know if a Godzilla scream would be necessarily be
The
copyright.
Godzilla scream would be fine, I think.
Yeah, because I think it has to be longer. If it's not longer than a certain amount of seconds,
Oh,
then I
Kenta
think
says he's got music. I'll send that along to Bossman then, and he'll get you all worked up and have you a nice video for when you call in.
yeah, because we want to hear from some people.
Yes.
And Kenta, right
I'm
now
always
you're
excited when new folks call in. It makes me happy.
I want to hear his thoughts on this best of 5 series he's having
Oh, that
with
would be
with
wonderful,
Brian.
especially if we could hear from him before it's over.
Yeah,
Nudge, nudge,
exactly.
wink, wink, Kenta.
So yeah, I think we're kind of almost pretty much out of things to talk about at this moment, unless you had something, maybe you wanted to
I've
bring
got
up.
a couple of things that I'd like to mention outside of RAWF, but that I'd like to promote if you don't mind.
Please.
As on most folks here are familiar, Papa Shaker has his Fueled by Awareness company, and he is currently taking signups for a fibromyalgia awareness tournament. And I think that's closing pretty soon. If you need an invite to the company, you can reach out to me. I have admin powers, so I can get you in. But that's a wonderful cause. He does a lot of awareness tourneys, and he does them completely free. He doesn't make anyone pay to join. It's all donation based. And then Vexy is hosting Rook's suicide prevention tourney as well. And you can reach out to her or Brew, or I think maybe Starry is
Yes,
also.
Starry and Haruki have
Thank you.
empires too. Yeah, that's one
So you can reach out to them if you want to get
Haruki?
added.
Who dug her out? Oh, never mind. I shouldn't say.
You're going to get your arse kicked for that one.
She ain't gonna hear this.
Yes. I think
Yeah, but there's folks who will carry a tale. But yeah, so reach out to one of them if you want to join Rook's suicide prevention tourney. And I just wanted to mention both of those on air because they're both excellent causes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, and then I will go ahead and plug Michael Brewer's company, Bad Company Wrestling. He is being revived. It has been revived since his return, and I can tell you I've always enjoyed being in Bad Company, and I do believe he's still recruiting for Bad Company Wrestling. If you want to take a look at BCW, get a hold of Michael Brewer.
Well, you can't do much better than getting a recommendation from Bossman because he's awful picky about where he works.
This is true. I am not. And there's not a lot of companies. I'll promote any company on the air, but
but to actually be there and enjoy being part of it is something different.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. I am a Bad Company Wrestling Hall of Famer. That's right.
Well,
Wow.
look at that.
Yeah. See. And the first pay-per-view of the new Bad Company Wrestling is tomorrow. So, as Brewer said. So.
Well, Brewer, is it too late to join the company and get a pay-per-view match for tomorrow?
I do highly recommend it because Brewer's actually one of the best owners I've ever.
Send me an invite, Brewer. I'll join your company if you'll have me.
There you go.
And I shared the link if anyone wants to check out the company and see what's going on over there.
All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed. Yeah, I don't know that we got a whole lot more to talk about this evening. We should have all the title contender matches for Radiversary done by next week. We will find out whether the Paragon of Greatness will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against Blake Bradley, or wait a minute, you know something?
What's
I believe Blake may have already beaten her, and I just forgot. That can't say that that's not a possibility. Let me go look. 2 seconds, because if that's the case, we do have something more to talk about.
Nope, that match ain't over yet.
Nope, it's not officially over.
Nope.
Okay.
It's close. It's very close.
So, all right. So we don't know officially who Paragon will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against at Radiversary. But should be a good match either way, whichever one walks up.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it seems a little silly to say, oh, well, you don't get into the world title contendership match unless you know what you're doing, but I think these are two very good challengers in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. And two people that have never really been in the title picture that much as far as the World Heavyweight Championship. So we shall see.
Oh, go on and hold up your signs, Sibel. I know you want to.
Yep, go ahead. We know you want to.
Although I still don't think that you're as big an Eva fan as I am, but we'll argue about it tomorrow in the ring.
Brewer, when do the next tag rankings come out? Probably next week, I would guess. If I were, I can't speak for Unstoppable, but I'm pretty sure that that's most probably likely sometime around a week from now. So, yeah. All right. With that being said, Maeve, I appreciate you joining me this evening.
Well, thank you for having me, boss man.
Always a pleasure. And good luck tomorrow in your Triple Crown title match. Will you be the one going into Radiversary, the Triple Crown champion? We find that out tomorrow.
Well, I certainly hope so, after all the shy to talked.
All right. With that being said, we're gonna call it a night. Finish it off by playing the Radiversary, the official theme to Radiversary, coming up in just 2 short weeks. For the lovely Maeve O'Hare, I am Lord Amadeus. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Starting with the sparks, turned into a flame. Built a legacy, now they know our name. Through every high, through every fall, we stood tall, we gave it our all. Every step, every mile, every heartbreak, every trial. Now we stand, hands held high, underneath the brightest sky. It's our anniversary, light up the night. Raise up the banners, we earned this right. Through the sweat, through the grind, we left no dream behind. Now we shine in the Hall of Fame. Nothing around here will ever be the same. They said it impossible, we proved them wrong. Turned up the volume, wrote our own song. Every late night, every long day, led us right to this golden stage. Every tear, every might, lit the fire, sparked the light. Now we stand, hearts ablaze. This is history, we're here to stay. It's our anniversary, light up the night. Raise up the banners, we earned this right. Through the sweat, through the grind, we left no dream behind. Now we shine in the Hall of Fame. Nothing around here will ever be the same. For the dreamers, the fighters, the ones who believe. For the battles, the lessons, the marks that we leave. This is a moment, this is our time. A legacy rising forever and tried. It's our anniversary, light up the night. Raise up the banners, we earned this right. Through the sweat, through the grind, we left no dream behind. Now we shine in the Hall of Fame. Nothing around here will ever be the same. Years in the making, now here we stand. A Hall of Fame story, written by hand. They said anniversary, light up the night. Raise up the banners, we earned this right. Through the sweat, through the crowd.